seen the different functions, what we are going to do with the requirements, how we are going to discuss with the requirements, how we are going to discuss with the customers about the requirements, and how we are going to negotiate with them, how we are going to specify the requirements, like that. So after collecting all the requirements from the customer side or from the other stakeholders, what we have to do, we have to validate it. Okay, so whether these requirements are properly done, whether these are all the exact requirements, so there should be no ambiguity. Okay, so you have to just identify the inconsistency of the requirements, you have to skip the errors, you have to omit the unwanted requirements, like that you have to examine your requirements. So for that, for doing some kind of examination or inspection, we have to do the requirements validation. So whether the requirements are properly defined. Okay, so whether it is conforming according to the standard established for the process, project, and the product. So this thing we have to do in the next phase. So followed by this specification, once actually before specification itself, you have to do the negotiation, you have to do the validation. But the idea is only after specifying you can know about these requirements generally. So after specifying in terms of some document, now you can just look onto the document and identify the particular errors or mistakes that is present. Okay, so this is what we are doing in the validation phase. And the primary requirement validation mechanism can be done through the formal technical review. Okay, so this kind of validation will be done initially by means of reviewing the document, what has been specified in the SRS. Okay, so based on that, you can able to analyze the details, and you can just add on or remove on something, whatever you feel. Then comes the next last phase or last functionality, which is the requirement management. So this means you are managing the requirements. So this is not a single activity, as it is kind of management. It is a set of activity which will help the project team to identify, control, and track the requirements. So that means you have collected the requirements and documented it. So these user requirements which has been collected from the customer, okay, so in future you are going to design it and develop the particular application, and finally you are testing it. Whether this, for example, if you are in the testing phase, okay, doing some kind of testing on an application, at that time you are realizing some logical error. Okay, for example, let us take the payroll system as the same thing. So for the payroll system, the salary calculated for a particular employee is not correct. Okay, something is missing. For example, you shall think about the salary components, how it has been calculated, like basic pay is there, some dearness allowance, DA is there, and house rent allowance is there, and also we can say some kind of deductions like PF deduction is there. So these are all the four generic components like basic pay, dearness allowance, house rent allowance, plus deduction is this PF, okay, provident fund deduction. So now what is the case? If this in this four component, if any one component is missing, okay, so what will be the situation? The program will work correctly. The software will work properly because there is no syntax or semantics error, but the outcome is different. Okay, so whatever we are expecting as the salary the particular employee is receiving is not correct. So what is the situation? The one component is missing. How will you track this missing requirements at the testing phase? I am not talking about the requirement phase now. So you are testing the particular application. At that time, you are calculating the salary for the payroll system, and it is showing some different value, okay, which is not correct. At that time, how will you just identify the mistake? So you have to track back, or you have to trace. So you have to trace back in the sense means you have to go along with first developing team. So you are asking the questions, what are all the input variables you are given, whether it is properly analyzed or not. And this development team is saying, yes, we had given the inputs for basic pay, allowances and all, but still you cannot find it. Which is missed? What is the component that is missed? Again, you are tracing back to the design phase. Again, in the design phase also, you are trying to analyze these things. Again, you cannot find it. Okay, then you are coming to the requirement phase. In the requirement phase only, you can able to find out which is missing, because in that document it is clearly specified. Okay, for calculating the payroll or salary, these are all the components that has to be taken. So in that component, the PF data is missing. So accordingly, that requirement is not fulfilled in the design, followed by the development, and finally it is showing the logical mistake in the testing phase. See, now you can understand the role of the tester also. Okay, so the tester should not say there is a bug or defect just like that. They should also know that, okay, what is the root cause of this mistake or defect, where it happens, how it happens, like that some kind of analysis has to be made. Accordingly, here also the case is what we have to trace the requirements back from each and every phase. So the requirements should have a kind of table which we are calling generally as requirements traceability matrix. Shortly we are calling as RTM. It is a standard which is used in the software engineering, and this standard is having both, it is looking like a table with some rows and columns, okay, with various attributes present in it, and that is different for different applications. Okay, so that requirement traceability matrix is a generic format or template which we are having for or some kind of traceable requirements from the testing phase to the requirement phase. Okay, so this is where we are talking about the requirement management. So the requirement management should know how to construct this requirement traceability matrix. So tracking the requirements from the later phase has to be done. Okay, and also if there is any change in requirements, immediately that will be that should be updated in the design, followed by the development also. So that also should be managed properly. Okay, so that is where we are talking about the traceability tables, and the traceability tables has been effectively planned and created during this requirement management phase. Okay, so it starts with the identification, such that each requirement should have a unique identifier, and it should be in the format of a table. Okay, so which should relate one requirements. It should also relate the requirements. There are some requirements that are integrated, that are dependent. Okay, so not all requirements are isolated or standalone. Most of the requirements are interdependent or having some kind of dependency. One variable of one particular requirement shall be used in another particular requirement also. So this kind of relationship also can be established by means of constructing the traceability table. So that will be developed in this phase only. And here are some of the possible traceability tables that has been shown to you. One is the features traceability table. So this has been shown, the simple format has been shown like this. We are just writing the feature versus requirement. Feature is what? Online shopping cart. So that is the feature which has to be present in that application. So how will you just satisfy this feature? What are the requirements for this feature? Write down the requirements. So definitely you may be knowing this cart. Okay, in Flipkart or Amazon, you would have come across this. Okay, so for this online cart, what are all the requirements that has to be satisfied? So users will be able to add some books. So here this particular shopping cart has been written for the product book. It can be considered for any product or anything. So accordingly here, what is the requirement given here? Users shall be able to add books to the online shopping cart. Users shall be able to remove the books from the online cart, view the book details, and also checkout details. So these are all some of the requirements that can be considered for the feature online shopping cart. This is one sample table what you can do, what you can write. So now here is a question for you again, whether these requirements are sufficient for this online shopping cart according to your knowledge. So here we had given some 4 requirements for the online shopping cart feature. Whether this is enough? Someone shall say, based on your knowledge or expertise, because many of you had purchased online some of the products. So what will be present in the cart? Yeah, please tell me.
So something like a cart balance should be available, like uh, not before checkout only we should know like what is the total amount possible, something like that.
Very good. So this is one requirement, one another requirement. Yes, that is also correct. Any other answer from someone else apart from Vishnu? Good. See, there are some around 100 students here. So for each class, I expect some 2 students of different category or different sections shall answer me. I'm not asking any technical questions. Kindly note that. Because software engineering is exactly based on the real time development or real time assignment what we are planning. So you can answer, everyone can answer it. Someone shall tell one feature, one requirement has been already known, given by your friend. Some other feature, some other requirement, because some of you had that experience. Based on that only I'm asking. What else you want to add into your cart?
Any offers, coupon details.
Okay, very good. Coupon details. Who answered me?
Venkatesh,
Yeah,
sir.
Sai
Venkatesh.
Venkatesh. Good. Fine. Okay. Still, we can consider some more requirement also. Okay, right. Anyway, so some 2 requirements has been added newly. So you just think about. Okay, you can add your address. Okay, probably there may be a different address. Okay, you want to add. So that also you can plan to add it into cart. Something relevant to the particular online shopping. Whatever you are feeling, you can add it. It is not only this portion we have to add, this we have to remove. All this depends upon the particular shopping cart application what we are using. Because Flipkart is using one kind of detail, the requirement is different, and Amazon is having some other requirement. So it varies according to the particular company also. Even though the shopping cart is basically the same thing, same functionality, but the companies are changing the requirements accordingly. So that means what? You have to, that details you have to collect it from the customers only. Okay. So if you are developing an application for Flipkart or Amazon, so whatever requirements that has to be added into cart, that you only should collect from them. Okay, so you cannot develop on your own. Whatever present in Flipkart or whatever present in Amazon, you cannot add it directly into your third such kind of online shopping cart. So you have to collect the data from the customers' requirements. So, but anyway, these are all the features traceability table. Then comes the source traceability table. Now here what we have to identify is the source of requirements. Okay, so who is telling the requirements? Who are the sources? What are the sources? Okay, so that details you have to trace it. So here sources in the sense means various stakeholders are there. So by default, clients, customers, users are all stakeholders, not only them, managers, domain experts, developers, marketing, quality assurance people, all are considered to be stakeholders. Okay, so apart from that, we are having other sources like pre-existing system. That means similar kind of product. For example, you are developing an online shopping cart for a new application. So already you are having Flipkart and Amazon and other companies, other online shopping websites. So that existing system, how it works, what are all the requirements present in it, that also you have to collect. as a source. Pre-existing documentation, computing system, that is what I told you, documentation about interfacing system. So document about interfacing in the sense means after you just add all the details into your cart, now you are going to press the submit button or checkout button. So that means what? You are going to an external site for payment. So from Flipkart or Amazon, you are going to the third party. Okay, trusted third party. So the trusted third party may be the particular gateway or the particular payment gateway what you can consider. So that payment gate, through that payment gateway, you are just paying the amount for the product. So that is a different application, different website. So that is an interface. That is an interface for whom? For your system, for your Flipkart or Amazon. So these are all considered to be the sources. Not only that, along with this, we can have the standards, policies, okay, legislations, that means legal conditions, laws, everything are considered to be the source. Okay. Then after considering the source and features, then you have to think about the dependencies between the requirements. Okay, so here see, this is one sample traceability table with the various fields given. So the B1, B2, B3 are all considered to be the business requirement for a particular project, banking project. So here the module name is given as login and logout. Okay, see, this login and logout are considered to be a different modules. Are you agreeing? Someone shall say whether the login and logout module are same or different. Someone shall say.
Different.
In what way?
Login, we will have details. We should enter details. Logout,
Okay.
we need not enter any details.
Very good. So somehow you grabbed the details properly. Fine. Very good. But any other visualized difference you can make it out? Someone shall say, apart from Venkatesh, visualized difference. Which the difference which you are visualizing from that website. Based on the seeing that website, you can differentiate like this. This is login model, this is logout model, like that. Did you understand the questions? Suppose if you are entering into a website, you are doing the login, you are giving a login credentials. And again, after some time finishing the task, you are logging out. So based on looking into that particular website or visualizing that website, what is the difference you can make it out?
Web page.
Ah, very good. So web page is different. For login, there is normally the login page will be the home page by default in most of the websites. Okay, so generally, otherwise it will be in the second page like that or the next page. Okay, so normally in the home page in the topmost right corner, you will be having the login button. You will be clicking on that, so you can go to the next page, for example. So that will be a separate module looking like having only the details related to the username and password or some OTP. In some website, it may be a CAPTCHA. So there are some differences. Then after finishing the task, you will be in some page, some other web page. Okay. One thing what you can identify from this website is in all such kind of subsequent pages, you may be having the logout button fixed. Okay, so suppose after login into that particular website, you are working with the different web pages. You are moving here and there, you are surfing. But in all such kind of web pages, in the topmost right corner, probably you may be having that logout button, which is fixed forever. It may or may not be, it all depends again. Okay, so I'm not saying this is the way how it has to be done. So it is all about the creativity and innovative mindset of yours. Okay, but the idea is what? The logout button will be there. Somewhere it is fixed. So from any page you can log out. So once so that means what? That is a different page with a different location, and after logging out, it is coming back to the home page or back to the login page. It all depends again. So now we are having two different a particular functionality or modules which are related, which are having the dependency. Once if you log in, then only you can log out. Once if you log out, then you are coming back to the login. So these two modules are different but having the dependency. And this should be traceable. That's what I'm saying. You may be in any other page, but after logout, you have to come back to the home page or the particular login page. So that is the dependency which you have to trace it out properly. So the application who are going to work with these modules, manager and customer normally. Okay. So what is the role of the customer? What is the role of the manager with respect to the login and logout modules has been given here. So you can read it on your own. Okay. So this is the idea. And here again the dependency lies with this manager and customer also, because the customer can log in into his credentials once registered, but he cannot go into the manager or admin generally, manager's login. But on the other end, the manager could log in into the customer's credentials. Okay, so this is the way how we can consider the dependency also. So this is based on the role, okay, who are going to use it. So based on the user of that module, it again the dependency preserves. Coming to the next module, the inquiry. So here the customer is having the main role for inquiry module. So now the customer, what he can do, he can able to just inquire about his bank data or balance of the amount that is present in his bank. Okay, so this is one way. But manager can also view the balance of all the customers who are coming under his supervision. But here the manager is not doing that inquiry model, because manager don't want to check the balance of any customer account. It is only the customer who has to check the balance. Okay, suppose if manager wants to do, he can do it, but that is not explicitly specified. Okay, so this is what we have to think about the dependency. And similarly fund transfer. Okay, so that is also where we can consider the dependencies. Okay, so I think you would know how this particular fund transfer is working with respect to the customer as well as with respect to the manager. Okay, so this is another kind of table, traceability table or matrix, which we have to consider. So in requirements management, you have to think about the feature. Okay, feature traceability table, source traceability table, dependency traceability table. Then comes the subsystem traceability table. So if you are considering a payroll system, again taking the same example, it is not entirely a system, single system, or a full-fledged single system which can be given some input and directly producing the output. Any systems, any software system has been made up of various subsystems. Okay, there are many subcomponents that has been attached to the main system. As a whole, we are calling it as a full-fledged system. So now what we have to do is, in a particular system, in a particular payroll system, for example, how many subsystems are there? Okay, that also should be traceable. So why this has been considered means, normally if you are thinking about any software company, for a particular payroll system itself, there may be some 10 teams working on this project. So each team will be taking care of some particular subsystem. Okay, so that is the way how we have to think about the subsystem. And now this subsystem may be having some kind of hierarchies, because suppose again I am coming back to the payroll system with 10 subsystems. So we have, suppose if a particular team has to go for the developing of 10th system, for example, 10th system module, the third system has to be completed. Okay, so if the third system is not completed, the 10th system cannot work. This is the dependency. In one way we can say this is the dependency. Okay, so now the case is what? So we have to finish the third system first, then only you can go for the 10th system. So this is also considered. Okay, so now coming to this diagram, you can see there are some kind of requirements with respect to various system levels, level 1, 2, 3 and so on. Okay, in system level 1 we are just talking about the stakeholder requirements as well as the system requirements. So we have to verify and validate the requirements of the stakeholder, and also we have to verify the design also once if the requirement is satisfied. Okay, so this is all about the level 1. So the same thing follows for level 2 as well as for level 3. That means whatever levels you are, whatever systems, subsystems you are using, we have to collect the requirements accordingly. Each and every subsystem may have different stakeholders with different inputs. And similarly, the design also has been considered to be varying. So this also we have to consider. So both in terms of stakeholder as well as in terms of system, the requirements has to be collected for each and every levels of system. This is one end. On the other end, you can see in the right hand side, product level. Okay, so this means what? Based on the development of each subsystem, you can show the partial product. Okay, for example, again coming to the payroll system, there are totally 10 subsystems available or 10 levels available. If you are completing 4 levels, we can show a partial prototype of the payroll system to the customer. If you are completing 6 levels, you can show 80% of your product. So like that, we have to think about. Okay, so what are all the various levels of product? Whether it is in final level or whether it is in the medium level or whether it is in the beginning level. So these are all we have to consider. And on each and every level, we are having the verification and validation of the products. So at this phase, I want to ask one question. What is verification and what is validation? Any idea? Anyone is having some idea? If you are knowing means, please tell. Hello. So I want a frequent interaction from your side. Yeah, now the student strength is increased after 10 minutes. Sorry, after 30 minutes of class. So previously it was 101, now 4 members are joined. Okay, I will just mention some students. Sai Srikar. Sai Srikar is there? Okay, so I will note down this name, Sai Srikar. Gajulapalli Sai Srikar. Okay, Gayatri. Gayatri. Then Naga Prakarsha. Naga Prakarsha. Third candidate. Okay, then fourth, Balaji Subhash.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now Sai Srikar, Naga Prakarsha, Gayatri had not answered. Okay, but they are here. Okay. So now whom I called? Balaji?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what question I had asked just now? I don't want the answer. I'm teaching something. Okay, I think you know what I am teaching. What course I am teaching?
Software engineering.
Oh my God, you know the answer very well. Okay, fine. So now tell me what is the question I asked just now?
Validation versus verification, sir.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. That's all. That's all. I did not want the answer. I just want to know whether you know that question. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right, fine. Okay, now today I just searched for 3 students. They were not here. Okay, that means technically they were here, but physically they were not here. Okay. Okay, let me continue. So I will come to that point, validation and verification later on. Okay. So, but this validation and verification has to be done for each and every product. Otherwise, building a right product. Okay, consider this term, building a right product, and another term, building a product right. Okay, so building a product right and building a right product. So both are considered to be different terms in the form of understanding. So if you are building a product right, in the sense means, okay, right. That means you are going along with some kind of procedure and process. Okay, some standards you are following. So that means you are following some standard according to the template given, and you are doing the process as per the guidelines, as per the policies, and that is what we are talking about, the verification. Okay, so whether we are following the standards and policies in general, this is verification. Then comes the validation. Okay, so now you, as I mentioned earlier, in the payroll system, you missed out one data, which is the PF. So if you are missing this data for all the employees, what will happen? Even though your product is working fine, still it is not a right product. Why it is not a right product? It is not producing the outcome, what the expected outcome, or the expected result is not arrived. So unless otherwise, if the expected result is arrived, then only it is a right product. Okay, so that we have to know. So once if we are giving some inputs, it has to process it, the system has to process it, and it has to produce the correct outcome or correct result. If that is not there, then this product is not a right product. So that is what we are talking about, the validation. You are validating the system to check whether it is producing the correct result or not. This has been done at this level. Okay, you are just doing the validation against these requirements. So this, in the left hand side, the system level 1, 2, 3 are all just considered under the requirement phase. On the right hand side, final product level 1, 2, 3 and all are considered under the final phase. That is means during the testing phase. So during the testing phase, for each product, you are doing the validation and verification against these requirements, which is system requirement and also the stakeholder requirement. So if the stakeholder requirement and system requirements are just checked and verified and validated, then the product is delivered. Otherwise, it has to refine again. So this is what we are doing, the tracing. So you are tracing your particular final product with respect to the system requirements as well as the stakeholder requirements. So this we have to do. Okay, this is the subsystem traceability table. Then comes the interface traceability table. So now the case is what I already mentioned you. If you are developing an application, it is not a standalone application developed with some programming language or database. So it may be interfaced with some kind of hardwares. Okay, it could be interfaced with some other ready-made applications or commercial off the shelf components. Simply, or we can call it as COTS component. Okay, so that means some kind of integrated applications or softwares or hardware has been present in your application also. Suppose you want to take the printout. So you are having the print option in your application. So if you are pressing the print option, where it has to go? It has to connect to the printer interface, which is a hardware device. So that also we have to create a traceability table. So based on the requirements, based on the design as well as code and test. So here, what are all the requirements? Restaurant has 2 ordering stations. Okay, now you can understand. So there are 2 method of ordering. Okay, for the particular restaurant. So one is through online. Okay, another one is through phone call, like that. You just imagine yourself. Okay, so based on this particular 2 different kind of ordering system, we should design, we should construct the code, and we should test it. So that details has to be given here. So what is the functional design? What is the internal design? What is the code? How many codes, lines of codes are there? What are all the test cases that has been written? So all this has to be traced. Why it has to be traced? Because we are actually interfacing. Okay, so we are supposed to integrate 2 ordering, 2 method of ordering the food in a restaurant. So one method is online, another method is phone call, through phone call. But both has to be looked onto, and the bill has to be settled. So for this we have to do some kind of traceability table. Okay, some kind of tracing the requirements is required. Similarly, yeah, that's what I am saying continuously, the same thing. A waiter may order from any station, any customer at a table may request a separate check, a customer may get checks from more than one station, all such kind of details. Just a minute. Hello? Yeah. Yes, speaking. Currently, I am in meeting, teaching. Shall you call after 5 o'clock? Otherwise, thank you. Yeah, sorry. This is the way how there are different types of requirements with respect to some kind of interfacing with other data. See, you can see the functional design as check printing. Okay, so that means what? It is a kind of particular interface what we have to look into. Okay, so these are all the another requirements that has to be noted down in terms of interface traceability table. Okay, so these are all the various traceability table that has been provided. Ultimately, there is one table which I have not discussed here. That is the requirement traceability matrix itself. Okay, that I am giving as a task to you. Once if the project is assigned, I will be giving that requirement traceability matrix template, and you have to write down the traceability matrix. Okay, based on the requirements for your project. Why I have not discussed this is because in that table you have to write down the details of the test cases. But we have not discussed about the test case here. What is test case, how it looks like, all this kind of details we have not discussed so far. So I am, after finishing that topic of discussion, then I will get back to you with this requirement traceability matrix. Okay, because this requirement traceability matrix will have the relationship or the dependency between the user requirements and the test cases. So user requirements now we discussed, but test cases still it is pending. So once I had done with the software testing topic, at that time I will come back to you with this requirement traceability matrix once again. Okay, so that is the reason I left that topic here. Now, the next discussion is all about, okay, so how will you initiate the process? So we had discussed about what is requirement engineering, what are all the distinct functions available in this requirement engineering. Okay, so and finally we discuss about the requirement management in terms of traceability tables, different traceability tables. But now we have to start the process. How will you start the process? Okay, so that is important. So for example, you just think about this scenario. For a particular application, okay, let me take another example. Always we are taking the payroll system. So I think you may be feeling bored of them, bored of that application. So we shall move on to some other application. What application shall we take, my dear friends, students? As an example, let you tell me.
Sir, a chat application.
Oh, very good. So now we are, one of your friend is saying chat application, fine. So now, see who said that chat application? Shall I know the name?
Vishnu, sir, Vishnu.
Only Vishnu and Sai Venkatesh are answering continuously. So I will just give the marks only to these people. Okay. Out of these 105 students who are here, sorry, 106, now another new student added. I don't know. Okay. So what about Haripriya? What about Nikhil, Lokesh, Satya?
I am there, sir.
Yeah, Nikhil. Now,
Yes, sir.
Vishnu said like this. So often we are taking this
Yes,
payroll
sir.
system as an
He had
chat.
given an example. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Now, Nikhil, you are a part of a project team. Okay. Consider
Okay,
yourself as a project manager. Okay. So
Okay,
now
sir.
you are going to develop the chat application. So how will you start the
Okay, sir.
recruitment process?
First of all, we need to register with the mobile number or email, sir. We need to verify and validate the number, no, sir.
Whose mobile number and whose
User one, sir. End user.
who is the user?
We, sir. It's like a common people
Why
who are
common?
using the application. Who are using the application?
Whether the okay, right? You are saying common people. Whether the people may be in a specific location or it may be they may be in any location or a distributor location.
Any location, no, sir. It's like if we want to develop an app, it should be available in all the locations.
Okay, fine. Here is my question.
Yes.
So you are developing a chat application and you are considering from any location because it is for common people, you are considering any location. Okay. Now there are people from China who don't know English. Whether they can use your application, chat application.
It's like it should be available in all languages. It's like for the main language. Yes.
Yeah, fine. Very good. Very
It's
good.
a yes, sir.
Okay, Nikhil. See, the thing is, initially you thought, okay, it is a chat application. It is for some common people. That's all. But if I'm asking other questions, then slowly you are just thinking about, oh, then we have to develop in many languages. Okay, because Chinese may not know English properly, so we have to develop the particular application in Chinese language also. You are thinking now, correct?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, now my question is how many languages you will consider for your chat application?
It depends on us, sir. It's like we need to gather the information that where all people are interested to use this chat application. It's like in what all languages WhatsApp. It's like WhatsApp is the main application, sir, for chatting. WhatsApp, Telegram, and nowadays Signal also. So we'll see that and consider.
That's what I'm asking. You have to fix now. Now you are a project manager. You should not consider, you should fix the number of languages to be written for this particular application, chat application. How many languages you are going to fix? That is my question.
We need to do research, no, sir. It's like how many countries are.
Very good, very good. That is what we are talking here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
so the customers are not a single customer. Okay, they may be in a different location. They may not have the proper idea. They have conflicting opinions about the systems. They have not. So all this thing I already told about in the previous classes. Limited technical knowledge, limited time. Okay, all these constraints are there. As a project manager, as a software team, you are forced to work with these constraints. Okay, so if you are having this constraint, how will you take it to the next level, or how will you make this project to be a successful one? There comes the various steps to follow, which I will discuss in the next week. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. That's all.
Sir,
Yeah, who is this?
Sir Vishnu, sir, I had this doubt, sir. Like, there are so many processes in there in the requirement engineering part only. Like, there are so many things that I need to take care in that part only. So,
Yes.
why aren't there any job profiles like that? Like, at least for freshers, I haven't seen any job profile as such.
Very good question and valid question, my dear student. Okay, I'm just wondering what makes you think like this. But the ultimate thing is, in the first topic of discussion about the requirement engineering, I told you one thing. Okay, the software developers are arguing that, okay, for building a software or for designing a software application, the requirement engineer is considered to be a waste of time. Okay, this argument is still happening and it never ends. Okay, that is a particular situation. And one more thing, what you forget is, this requirement engineering is not done by the software developers or the particular software project managers directly. There are a separate team. Okay, so probably you had missed out, like the business consultant. Okay, business architect. So like that, there are a different designation under this role, and who are all considered to be the managerial people. They are not technical people. Okay, so that positions are here. So they are supposed to are marketing people, like that. We can consider in some other way. Okay, there are positions like this: business architect, business consultant. In each IT organization, such people are also there under the managerial position, and they are supposed to speak with the customers, and they will be convincing the customers to take the particular project to their company. So that is the role of these people. Okay, so marketing managers, or that we can say the different roles in the management sector. So all these particular roles in the management sector will take care of this kind of job. So they are doing this requirement engineering task indirectly without knowing about these procedures directly. But see, actually this part has to be discussed by with whom? With the particular business consultant. Okay, but unfortunately, as a technical people, you are learning it. But one way we can consider this as a productive thing, you shall become managers. See, that is the fascinating part of engineering. Any engineer, any technical people can become the manager. That is the position already having as a project manager. But no managerial position can become an engineer. Okay, if anyone is boasting themselves as I am the manager, you all engineers are working under me, means you can reflect them with this answer. Okay, we can become manager, but you cannot become an engineer forever. Okay, so in that way, in future, if you are becoming a manager or business consultant or business architect, at that time you can think about all these scenarios. So there is no separate position in terms of requirement engineering, unfortunately. So that also I will let you know practically after some time. Okay, got it?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. Any other doubts? Okay, if there is no doubt, you shall leave. Thank you.